Hey everyone, and welcome to this Sunday's Dev Hangout. We're about to start the show. A little bit different this show. The first time we're going to be giving away a Steam key to one lucky winner. Details on how to enter that will be included in the show later on. You just need to stay watching to be in with a chance to win. We're going to be predominantly spending some time in the editor looking at the new kit pieces that we added in patch 0.2.8 before jumping into the player and having a look at how it all looks, which I'm sure some of you have done before. If this is your first time in the stream, welcome. Thanks for popping in. Generally the stream lasts anywhere between 90 minutes and 2 hours. Don't forget to follow the stream and follow the channel on Twitch if you want an email reminder of future streams. We stream every Sunday at the same time. Alright, so we've got the sandbox editor open in 0.2.8. The patch went live on Saturday morning, and we've added quite a lot. The first thing that I want to talk about is the cemetery kit pieces. Now we've extended this quite a lot. Let's load up the cemetery kit. I think we've doubled. In total, I think we've added something like 100 props. So there's a fair bit of extra content for guys to have a play around with on your own maps. We've also included Matty 101's community map with patch 0.2.8, so everybody can get in there and have a play with that. I think Matty is actually in the stream at the moment, so he'll say hi. Any questions you've got from him, feel free to ask away in chat. But for now, we're going to be in the human village scene. So I want to talk about the cemetery kit because this is really a prototype for how we're going to be doing some of the other kits going forward. Specifically a dungeon kit where we're going to have snap turned on for the pieces to make it a lot easier for you to be very quickly put together quite large scale dungeons and locations. So if we actually look through, oh, okay. Where do they come from? Interesting. They must have crept in the build at some point, the statues. That was work that was being worked on literally the day before we went live. I don't think, I won't risk it anyway, but they shouldn't appear. I don't know, dare I do it? Dare I do it? Let's do it. Okay, what is that? Looks like it's just a placeholder. Let's have a look at... Oh, there are! Ha! Look at that. Okay, that's regression testing for you. Something creeps in. Oh, alright, we can have a play with those. There you go, you find something new every day. So during the stream, I'm also going to be answering questions, which I need to read the chat. So if you've got a question about how to use the editor or the game in general, please feel free to ask, and I'll do my best to answer. So Nakia Rogue's asking, can you go over the spawn points again? It's a bit confusing. Yeah, no problem. We'll get to that shortly. I want to look at that anyway with the camera turned off because I think in the previous stream, last week's stream, I think my face was obscuring a lot of the form. And we've also changed some of the monsters as well. Tommy Holmes, you've been the status is new for me because literally when we're going up to a release, we only do regression testing, so we'll just test the incremental changes rather than having to redo a complete retest. So we start testing with a full test, and then that gives us a list of final points that we need to address, and then we just retest those. Because if we had to retest the whole game every single test iteration, it would just take forever. And it looks like what's happened is that the FBX file's been updated, and some of the stuff that we were working on has crept in, which is why they haven't got icons. So if we let's shut this down actually and shut the inspector down. If we break apart how this is made and then move around, you'll see that the snap is already turned on for pieces. So if we start with this piece here, let's just duplicate it and move it over here. This particular piece on the top, it does have a nav mesh, so characters can walk on this, but there are some pieces that you need to be aware of that they can't walk on by default. So there's a little wall section, which if I just sort of replicate how this was built over here. This piece is called Wall 01, and characters can't walk on this by default, so they'll actually fall through and down onto the ground. What you need to do, if I just open up the kit pieces again, there's a piece called Floor 01. There it is. So we should just put it, and that has got a nav mesh on it, and again it's snapped, so it's nice and easy. It rests just on top of a wall piece. You will get a little bit of flicker, but that will be hidden, so it's designed so that you will hide that with the trim pieces. So if I just quickly go down here, we've got the trimmed pieces here. I'm missing trim side 01, that's what I want. So if we drop one of those in, and again you'll see it's snapped, and as Tommy Holmes has just said, it makes building a lot quicker. So we're going to be looking at turning that on for certain pieces. Some pieces you don't want it on for, because you want to be able to finally position them. So trees, for example, you wouldn't want snapping on for those because you want very precise positioning on it. We can turn snap on, I think, or we can set it to different amounts for different axes. So we can make it snap vertically, but allow you complete freedom for the X and Z planes. So if I just show you actually with, I'll have to show you with it. I'll go over here and use a chest. So I'll just duplicate the chest up using Control D. Just move it over. So you'll see that I can move the chest by very small amounts in the X and Z planes, but height-wise it's snapped. So you don't have to worry about getting it exactly aligned with any flaws. Okay, back to this trim piece. The trim pieces are designed so that there's a lip on the outside, so I need to rotate that piece around. And now if we go down, you'll see that the lip is on the outside. You'll be able to go in and load the map into the editor, the human village map, and you'll be able to see how we intended the pieces to be used. Now, obviously part of what you guys do really well is just throw out all of those rules that we've implemented and start putting together crazy looking things that then we can look at and go, wow, yeah, I really want to support that. So by all means do that. Post your screenshots in Steam, we'll have a look at that, and anything that we really like, you know, we'll turn it into a prop and include it in one of the kits. Okay, so the next thing, let's grab one of these stairs. Again, snapping, when we were originally developing this, we hadn't turned snap on. We were having all sorts of problems lining up the nav mesh and getting it to work properly. So that was really one of the things that led to us turning on snap, and we all agreed that absolutely it was far quicker to develop maps that way. So you'll find that snap is used extensively with a lot of these pieces, and I think in time we'll probably introduce it to the construction kit as well and clean that kit up a bit so it snaps together all really nicely as well. Hardcore Wookie Dance is asking, will there be underground layers in maps? You'll have dungeon kits and portals, so you'll be able to connect maps. So for example, in here we might place a portal prop, and then in the inspector we'll be able to say, right, this portal goes to this map, and then you'll be able to take your adventuring portal into that dungeon, and then that will load in a separate map. So you'll have your dungeon map. I'm just saying dungeon map. There are obviously lots of different types of dungeons that we'd like to introduce, but you know, let's get one done and make sure that works, because there's things that we need to address, like how the camera is going to work in a fairly constrained environment. Obviously, for the moment, we're outdoors and it's totally unconstrained, so there's a little bit of dev R&D and play testing to be done for that. Okay, so let's see, and then because, well, I mean that looks all right, but we've designed it, if I zoom over here, so that you can use these small, medium, are they the large? Actually, they might be the large ones, they're the medium ones. The pillars, to sort of hide various connectors. So if I actually move these out of the way, you'll see that this looks pretty ugly here. All right, so there's a little bit of visual trickery involved in hiding some of the slightly more ugly pieces. And then you'll see that we've got ledging down there. Okay, so let's see what we can do. So I talked about the floor pieces. You see that all this little bridge here, these are all floor pieces. And for those that have played it, you'll be able to actually run characters along the bridge and also under it at the same time. Tommy, I haven't seen your port yet that you've been making with the Cemetery kit. I don't know when you're posting it. I actually had a day off yesterday. Woo! Rare day off. So I've just been catching up with a few things and answering posts this afternoon. And I must have missed the screenshot, but I will check that out later. Okay, let's see what else we've used in here. There's the door props. Eventually we'll hook up these to code so that you'll be able to put like a trigger on these, so when you walk up to it you might interact with a button and that will open the doors, and then maybe that will grant access to the dungeon. So you might want a certain key, like the skeleton key or something like that, to open those doors, and you might put that over with a guarded area somewhere else on the map. So you'll be able to get those doors working in a future version. Let's look at the turrets. So the turret pieces, you'll see that they are all designed to sort of sit on top of each other, so we can get these in different orders. Let's just align the base there. Oops, I think I need to go up one level. Yep. And then we might have a second one. So you can have, you know, ridiculously tall towers. And then let's have the big dome on there. Okay, I'm not aligning this particularly well at the moment. There we go. And then maybe plonk some windows on it. So let's have that one. It should all snap together. There you go, snapping nicely. It's a bit high. So yeah. Walls. Again, they're designed to snap together. I have a feeling that we'll be extending them a little bit in the future. Let's say you wanted to create a wall there. Sorry, not a wall, like a gated entrance, so I could duplicate these pieces and drag them along. In fact, thinking about it, let's just grab, there's a gate. We've introduced the gate pieces. So let me see, where there. Let's drop one of those in. Now that's got no snapping. It's one of those pieces that you probably want to be able to rotate and position around. You know, I might want to have it slightly open. Alright, and then there's the entrance. Just grab that one. Alright, and the final end piece there. And there we go, we've got a little bit of a gate. So you could build a huge graveyard and use all the... we actually got a couple of mausoleums, so if I actually move that around, you'll see That's a complete piece that you can drop in there. Lighting, patch 0.2.8 will be... we've added a host of light sources, so I need to change kits for that. They're all in the Grasslands kit, so I'll just load that in now. And then if we go down to the bottom, here we go. See, we've got all the different torch types, so let's go in a shadow and drop some of those down. So that's got no flames, that's got flames, and this one, that's also got flames and a light. You can see the light source there. And then we've also got wall sconces. Now, because I've not rotated this, the whole this whole sort of crypt area around, I know that I can just type in to the inspector 180 degrees, and that will then be perfectly aligned and parallel to this wall here. So then it's just a matter of just nudging in a little bit, and there we've got. Let's move this one out of the way, and then maybe I want to move that down a little bit as well. Okay. So light sources add a lot of variety to shadow, especially. We find, so if you look where the sunlight's coming from, so it's actually looking down sort of this way. If you come to the opposite side where the shadow is, that's generally a really great place to put light, and the dynamic lighting that does flicker. So if I just zoom in there, you'll also spot. I don't know if it'll come across in Hangout or not. I think you can see that, but that's flickering as well, and that looks really good in shadow. If you were to put it in direct light, so like this one for example, you won't really see the light, the flickering light, because it's being overridden really by the sunlight. So they definitely work best in shadow, especially at night time when it gets dark. I see a lot of you guys are entering the competition now because Nightbot, we've added a little bot that does a couple of announcements every sort of 10-15 minutes. To enter the competition, all you need to do is type exclamation and then in lowercase enter. It's all one word, and then we've got a plugin that will randomly select an individual, and they will receive a Steam key that we will send them as a private message. But we'll be doing that later in the stream. We've only just really started now. Okay, some of the other changes that we've made. I think we went over this last week. We've obviously put mushrooms in there. They can add a great deal of colour. In fact, I went to the same place before, but for the benefit of those that haven't seen it, all sorts of little mushrooms. If you don't want to win the key, then by all means, don't enter. But if you do own the game and you've got a friend, then it's a nice gift to give them. And you'll be able to gift the key as well. Okay, so some of the changes that perhaps we didn't go into so much last week. Can't remember if there were any in this kit. Let's see. Just give me a second. Oops. Maybe I'm looking at Cobalt kit. Oops, not that one. Cobalt props. There we go. Okay, now we've added the icons in, you'll get a much better idea of what the pieces are. So hopefully you found that. Goblin Siege we've gone over last week. So this is all the content that's new in 0.2.8. So just very quickly go over to the Goblin ships. Okay, so they're a nice little prop that you can drop in. Naki, I'll get to these wave points shortly. Let's go and have a look what else we've got. There's Cobalt Temples and cemetery. Okay. We've moved the wave spawning system. Oh, chests as well. We've that went in this week. So I'll just drop one of those down. Hasn't got an icon yet. There's the chest. Just in terms of the front's got the key on it. I need to deselect it to show you that really. That's the back there, so just be mindful of that because the characters will, when you tell them to, come round and open the chest from the front. Warhammer's asking, do you work on the environment and character stroke models only? No, I'm the project lead, so it's my job basically to coordinate the team and liaise with the community and hang out with the community, handle all the business side, that sort of thing. It's the team who are responsible for everything that you're seeing. I do a lot of the game design work as well, and a lot of the UI layout. So the UI is evolving over time, but yeah, I do take care of the UI. But the icon, not the icons. The icon Jen takes care of the icons mostly. Some of the team chip in from time to time when we've got to get a lot of them out the door. Okay, so the spawn point, as I said, it's been moved to the systems kit. They're inserted into the world in just like a normal object. You just double click, left click with the mouse button, and you'll see here. Let's just raise it up slightly. Okay, it's not to be confused with sort of static spawn points. So if I choose like the swamp beast, for example, and insert that into the world, that is just a static monster. It will be active. It does have a brain, but it won't move around. Or have any sort of advanced AI. That is very much the responsibility of the spawn point systems kit. Okay, and we'll be expanding this system kit over time to add in things like triggers and any sort of scripted event handling. I'll maybe come back to your question about accessibility later, so we'll stay on this for the time being. Okay, so we'll snap the window. And you can snap the window to any edge just by dragging it. And you'll see here that by default we add in a couple of things, so let's just clear those down. Right to an empty world object. So the first thing to do is actually scale up the spawn point. The blue circle is the area in which they actually spawn. So when they come into the world, that's where they are. So if there's one character, it'll probably be, you know, that's ample room. If you've got, I don't know, 10 characters, you probably want to make that a little bit bigger and give them more room so they're not all standing on top of each other. Okay. The yellow circle relates to the maximum stalk distance. So if there's a monster stood in the circle and one of your characters walks into the range, then they will start chasing them. But when the chase goes beyond the maximum stalk distance, the monster will give up and stop chasing. Okay, so you could actually, oops, wrong one. You can't scale that one, so you could actually make that quite large. That's actually, even that's not very large. 250. Okay. And then the max wandering distance, if you leave them alone, then that's the area in which they'll, oops, 501, let's say 150. That's the area in which they will just randomly wander around. In time, what we'll probably do is we'll probably expand the AI modules so that there can be work points placed. So let's say the beastmen, for example, they might go to a sharpening point and they might sharpen their weapon, and that's an AI rule that you can put in. Okay, let me try and catch up with some questions. Too many questions, right? Okay, so Rogue Rocks is asking, will doors, gates, etc. have animations for opening and closing? Yes, they will. I mean, it's not particularly complicated, is it? But yeah, they'll do that. Tommy Holmes one's asking, when will the undead be spawnable through the spawner? Good question. Let's have a look. And when will goblins be placeable instead of... Right, okay. So goblins aren't placeable as static enemies at the moment, but as something that we'll do. In terms of undead, let's just have a look. So we need to add in a wave, and let's say this wave. So this, when we're setting it up, there's a couple of options for when the wave gets triggered. You can have the time since the start of the game, or if this is, say, wave 2 or 3, you can have the time since the last wave. And then spawned alive, less than or equal to, I need to actually check what that is. I don't know what that is actually. I think it's something one of the programmers has put in. The trigger value is the time in seconds. So the time since start, if you want this to spawn in 60 seconds from the start of the game, then put that in. The goblins spawn something like 20 minutes after the start of the game. So that's obviously a much bigger figure. 1,000. It might not be 20 minutes then exactly. Okay, announcement you can ignore for now. But it may be a text string that we show on screen at some point. Now the behaviour. For each wave, which say at 5 minutes you have a wave that attacks you, and then you'll beat that wave, and then another wave will follow. So for each individual wave, they can have different behaviours. So they can wander, so they'll spawn into the world and they'll just wander around in the green. In the green circle. Or you can tell them to seek player. So in that case, they will actually actively run towards any nearby characters or the buildings. And in the case of the goblins, they should scale your walls and come up over your walls. And then none, they'll literally stand still. So that, Tommy, that's how you would actually spawn a static, non-moving goblin. They'd still have a brain and they'd still attack when you came into range, but they wouldn't actually come after you. Okay. The formation is the order. Well, it's the formation in which they spawn. So typically, you have a number of groups within a wave, and the first one is considered like the captain, and that's the blue dot on the icon. So here, the captain, who you might want to make a tougher monster, would be at the front, and then there'd be a pyramid of monsters made up of the other groups behind them. Or you can just have random scatter run. There's different layouts. Okay, so we then need to say, in this wave that we're going to trigger after 60 seconds, what monsters do we want in there? So we want to add in a group, and then we want to choose what type of creatures are in that group. Okay, so we added in kobolds, got those in time. But because this is our captain group, I think we'll actually have our toughest monster. So we'll choose a beastman in there. We'll just have one. We could choose to make them really tough. So it's a health multiplier. So if we want them to have double the health, we could apply a 2.0 multiplier. So it's their health times 2. You put 3.0, and if you want 3 times health. And the spawn points I'll come on to shortly. Okay, and then we want to add another group, and we want the lesser monsters. So in the formation icon, it's the monsters that stand behind the captain or behind the blue dot. Well, not always behind. Depends on the formation, as I said. Okay. And then the creature type. Well, we could have goblin. We've got goblin archer, goblin warrior, goblin berserker, who are the guys with the claws on. And a goblin shield warrior, which is a single-handed axe and shield. Okay, so we could say we want one of those, and then let's say we want, I don't know, 3 kobolds. Oops. 3 of those. All right. We can actually split the group between multiple spawn points. So this is our sort of wave controller, and it's also a spawn point. If I duplicate it and just move it, so we've got 2. This is actually called, this is classed as spawn point 2, and this, the original, is classed as spawn point 1. And you'll notice that changing it doesn't change the wave definition. So the wave is shared across those multiple spawn points. And then I can say, alright, well I want the kobolds to actually appear at the second one. So over here we'll have the beastman and the goblin, and then over here we'll have the kobold. Okay, or we can delete that, and then there's obviously a bug that's not updating, but we'll sort that out. Oh. Have I done that right? I'll have to check that. But yeah, little bug in there. So that's our wave defined that will attack after 60 seconds. Okay, so we can collapse that down, and then let's say we want one 120 seconds into the game, which is exactly the same as saying the time since the last wave was 60 seconds. So it's 60 seconds from wave 1 plus another 60 seconds. Okay, and then you set up your group exactly the same that way. Right, I just need a second to catch up on chat and questions. Java and Drink, we're using the Unity engine. Warhammer, yes, this game is on Steam, Steam Early Access. I think the link is down at the bottom of the page. So if you scroll down there, you should see a link to buy now on Steam. That just links through to the store page on Steam. You can check it out there. Give me a second. Wow. Okay, a lot of chat. Hardcore Wookiee dancers are different types of siege units, like the tanky one, or stuff like that. Are different types of siege units? Are there different types of siege units like the tanky one? Right. I don't think you mean siege units as such, but characters that will attack you. Yeah, there'll be tough characters and weak characters, and if you want them to attack your village, then you can set them up that way. We will obviously set that up in the game that the level that we include with the game for 0.3. They will have different behaviours. So, like the swamp beast, for example, will beat down your portcullis and your gates to get in there. The goblins can actually scale your walls, so they'll get up there. And we're discussing, it was a suggestion that came up in the last Hangout, was that maybe if the goblins scale the walls, then they can attack your gatehouse, and then they can open the gate for others. So that's a really interesting dynamic that we're keen to explore. Right. Sorry, guys. I've made the same mistake that I always do. There we go. Camera's obscuring the view. So I'll quickly run over that again. Sorry about that. Okay. So time to start, 60 seconds. We want them to just wander about. And the first one, our captain, we'll set to a beastman. And then we want to add the goblins. Just one goblin, so we'll say a goblin archer. As I said, there's a bug there. And then finally, in this first wave, we want to have a kobold. Okay. And they will spawn 60 seconds into the game. I'll just close that down, add a new wave. We can either say 120 seconds for the time after the game has started, or we can say the time since the last wave, so the time since wave 1. and we can say 60 seconds there. We can have a different behavior, so this wave may seek out the player. Can use a different formation, and we might not a beastman. We might have, I don't know, 5 war pigs attack. We might want them to be really tough, so we can multiply their health by 2, so they'll have double the health. And that is how you set up the different waves. We'll be expanding this system later in development, so this is just really a first pass of where we're at. Okay, I think we've caught up, apart from the accessibility question, which I'll come back to. UK Frog is asking, will the awesome Chavy Goblins dialect make it into the final game? I love it. We're certainly going to try. It was a Marmite moment, I think. People either love it or hate it. We particularly like it, so we hope that something along those lines will make it into the final game. But that's all I'm saying on it for now. Couch Victor, sorry if I said that wrong. The release date is it's ready when it's finished when it's finished. We do keep everyone updated on a very regular basis. So there are obviously the Dev Hangouts for really active community members. Hey Napsu. And then every month we release a blog, a comprehensive blog, which you can find on our blog at blog.gamesfoundry.com. Which details all the changes that have gone into that patch, and then we patch the game every month, give or take a few days, but we're pretty consistent on that. That a fairly big release comes out, and then obviously we're active in the forums on a daily basis as well. But we don't want to. We're not rushing it. I'm not interested in releasing sort of a substandard sort of game that we've cut corners on. You know, we do get some criticism for the pace of development, but you know we've got a finite budget. I've got to carefully manage that. You know, I'm 40 years old. I've got years of experience, financial management, project management, and IT. There's no way that we're not going to deliver this game, and I'm not going to jeopardize that by reacting to those members of the community that tell us how to develop games. You know, we do this for a living, so it's ready when it's ready is the best and only answer that I can give. Okay. This is the first week that we've used the Nightbot. Let me know if it's sort of spamming you guys a bit too much. I'm only keeping one eye on it, and I see it's popping up links occasionally. We'll be changing those announcements at a later date, so this is just like the first outing for them. Right, okay, so as part of this patch, we obviously added and made use of a lot of the new prop pieces that we've got in. So the towers, that was pointed out to us that the stairs are on the wrong side, and I actually went and looked that up, and that made perfect sense. We may actually be able to mirror that, so there's an advantage. Historically, there was an advantage if stairs went up clockwise. So we might be able to change that fairly quickly, just by doing a negative scale. Okay, I think we can jump into the game, into the player, and open this map in the player. We'll be able to look at some of the sound that we've put in there as well. So let's go ahead and exit out. I'll be right back in just a second. And we'll have that level opened up in Sandbox Player. FCL Yemi is asking, what about the AI capturing the mine and wood camp? Yeah, it was in the tutorial. I'd like to have that in the actual game. so that your resources can be taken from you. It's definitely something that I want to add in. Okay, I'm back now that we're out of the editor. So we're in the start of the game. Changes that you may hear, we'll go about and do that now. So let's actually build a windmill there, and I'll also put down some bees. Now I'll probably destroy these, but I just want you guys to hear the sound system. And I want to talk a little bit about how that's going to be added to the editor as well. So in this patch, we've added in
completed
ambient sounds. So we've added in the river sounds, and then the building sounds. So the creak of the sails, and also the bees. So I'm going to shut up and I'm going to approach it now. So pretty pleased with the sound engine. The programming team did a good job of evolving that from the tutorial. It's pretty efficient. So what we do, we just have one instance of the sound effect for water, and then every single water tile has that sound effect node placed on it. And then we run a calculation, a weighted calculation, to actually work out the stereo panning of the sound and also the volume. So if I build, let's say, another windmill there, it's still only one sound that's playing, and all we do is we just change the
building completed.
The volume. So if I go, so we're stood by this one. As I move away, we're sort of stood almost in the middle. We should still hear a fairly faint sound of it, and then as I get closer, but it's still only one sound. And then the stereo positioning is also calculated. So we'll see here, if I pass through the bees, here, it should pass from the left headphone to the right headphone. I have no idea if that's coming across on Hangout. Hopefully it is. Yeah, we place the sound stuff on every single tile, water tile, because we need to be able to run that calculation. The same thing is done for... I will restart this level, so for now let's just send the guys up to the
on my way
area. So let's actually send them up to
ta-ta.
All right, dear.
There, and then we'll go back. So we've done it for torches as well. So we talked about how that's going. I mentioned that it was going to be extended into the editor. And what I think we'll do with that is we'll start with ambient sounds. So like we have the river sounds, we probably also want to maybe tie it up into sort of like, I don't know, a creepy sound for like the undead areas. And what we'll do is we'll have those as props, which we'll probably be able to set through the inspector in terms of the volume and the range. As you can see, they're all running up.
Really?
Okay. Well, what I wanted to show up here is the torches. before. Okay. Yeah, so character voices, we've added those in from the tutorial. They were done fairly on the cheap, so some of them are a little bit noisy and not particularly high quality.
All right, my love, right away.
So the females are pretty good.
Okay.
The males are a bit
My
noisy.
pleasure.
On
my way. Ta-ta.
So, as a test, we've put those in. We're writing all the lines for the new characters that we've had, like the hunter and the baker, and all the other professions that have been added that aren't in the tutorial. They will then get recorded, so we'll have some scratch recordings done for patch 0.3. They may not be the final voices that we use in the final game, but they'll do as placeholder audio. But each one, each profession will have their own sort of voices. Nakiro is saying, are you saying that sound will not be a memory hog, as it sometimes is? The sound still needs to be in memory. It's more of a CPU thing than anything else. Because to play every multiple sound, the sound needs to have been decompressed, and then to actually play it, it's taking CPU cycles to do that. So the fewer sound instances that we can have, then the better the performance will be. Okay, at this point, I think we're probably going to get laid into by the goblins, so I'm going to restart and build the level properly to have the best chance of survival. So I will be right back. The music that's playing is from the official soundtrack that we'll be launching at the same time as 0.3 and the super high quality version of it. You'll also hear some of the latest work that we've been doing on the snow zone. In fact, if you give me a second, I will just jump. Let's just jump through to the snow zone stuff now. Okay, let's play the snow zone. So. Right. Let's get to work. So we've changed population capacity. We've done away with everything that we first put in, and now it's entirely linked to the number of cottages that you have. So every cottage adds 5 to the maximum capacity. So when this is complete, that will give us 5, and let's build another one. 10. Let's put that one over.
Building completed.
So we've got 5, and as soon as we get some extra capacity, new peasants will start arriving.
Building completed.
So we'll let them get on with that. We'll also build a woodcutter's hut, which I'll plonk down there.
Building completed.
So we've got 15 of 15. So we, at the moment we won't get any new population. Hardcore Wookiee Dancer is asking, will the wolf ninja thingies, the Werfu monks from the tutorial return with will the wolf ninja thingies? Are you talking about the wolves in the sandbox or the wolves from the tutorial?
Building completed.
Right. Another change that we've made is that we've expanded the vacancy slots to 4 for each profession building. So now get 4, train all of those. We fixed the bug that was leading the skeleton behind as well. That's all in the patch notes. So our 4 guys will now go off and go about hacking down some trees. Okay, let's get a little bit more population. So this will then give us an extra 5 capacity. So if I was to move the guys out of the way, well, we'll hear it anyway soon. It'll say that new peasants have arrived, or something like that.
Building completed.
Okay,
What
so
now? My pleasure.
they'll actually appear in front of this one. Peasants belong to a cottage, even workers belong to a cottage.
New villagers have arrived.
There we go. So we've now got 18. So it will slow down slightly towards the end, so it'll go 18. Then the next increment will be probably 1, take us to 19, and then finally to 20. But it will keep going, and I think, I can't remember who it was, but I think it was the Spanish guys in the
New villagers have arrived.
But they pushed it to 300 villagers, I think. They must have a fairly decent computer. I don't think we'll be having that many on screen at one time in the final game. I think we'll be tweaking a little bit so that you can manage how many people are out on the streets at any one time.
New villagers
so then if
have
you
arrived.
haven't got like the fastest computer, then you'll be able to ease some of the load. So it'll be sort of like a graphics optimization, but just being smart by counting how many people are out on the street. Right, we need to crack on with doing this, otherwise these goblins are going to get the better of us. Next thing, we need to start our iron mining. Some of the other sound improvements we've added, so they now make the sound when they drop off resources.
Building completed.
Okay, so it's already coming together.
All right, my love.
You guys get on with mining, and then the final thing that we need to do is set up stone cutter. Again, don't forget your radius of influence, so you need to make sure that your resource is located within this, otherwise they won't work it. So Hardcore Walkie Dance is saying that, yeah, so it's the Werfu monks you're talking about in the tutorial. They will be in because we need to migrate the campaign, the tutorial campaign, across to use Sandbox Tech. So we'll be bringing those characters across as well. And
Building completed.
One of the things what we'll be doing is when we're working on the snow zone, we'll be bringing all of that monastery across and all those pieces and reconfiguring them so that you'll be able to build entire sort of zones out of that kit and place the Werfu monks in there. So yes, is the answer to that. Kabik's asking, will you be able to build roads and will the buildings come to roads automatically? You can build roads, so I can build one now. So if I hold down the I key, and it's not straight roads either, I can actually... There we go. Now we've got a nice curving road. So there's none of that isometric straight line nonsense in Votel. What we need to do next is we need to be able to make it so that there's a benefit to having roads and a cost to using roads. But yeah, all of these roads here are built in the editor using the same system. But for now, you just hold down the I key. Okay, so I need to crack on. I'm so going to get owned by these goblins. Hurry up. Alright, let's place the hunters down. And we'll also place a windmill down. Let's get cracking with that. And get some fields down. I've also brightened
Building completed.
nighttime a little bit, so I don't know if you can see it a little bit easier. It was far too dark.
Building completed. Building completed.
Yep.
Okay. So the next step, we need to generate some gold because we're going to run out of gold soon. So what we want to do is we need to build a baker's. So we're going to finish goods. We've got enough to build it. Let's plonk it right down there. So because we haven't built a storehouse yet, the baker will actually walk to the windmill and pick up the flour himself. Now And we've got, I think at the moment there's 650 flour. Oh, it's not, only 201. I guess they reduced that. Right. All our little peasants are going to be hungry now.
Building complete.
They're going to go and they're going to buy bread.
Yes, my dear?
Oh, I don't think
On my way.
let's just have one.
What now?
Maybe 2 bakers. You're not going to go and get it? Ah, maybe he's changed that. Okay. We should build some more fields. Be interesting to see what can I fit that in there. It's not quite going to go, is it? Plug it there. There you go. Our farmer's on the way there.
Building completed.
Hardcore Wiki Dance asking, are there going to be skill upgrades? There will be for your heroes, but not for normal sort of workers and peasants. Why aren't they going to get... They should be selling. We're going to do a storehouse.
We don't have enough stone to do that.
Oh, really? Alright, we're going to have another store colour, maybe.
How can I help?
Why don't we get over there? I think we better have another cottage while we're at
We
it.
don't have enough stone to do that.
Okay, I'm out of stone. I'm going to cheat. Give myself a load of extra resources. Let's get a storehouse down. Why aren't they... selling? So what should be happening, or what I would expect to happen, certainly like 2 days ago, was that
Building completed.
Aha! Okay, it seems to be tied to the... Oh no, it's not stored. It's tied to it. Ah, okay. They've just... What are you doing?
Yep. New villagers have arrived.
Okay, well, let's hope they start doing that. That's obviously a bug. That was working. Anyway, right, let's
Building completed.
let's get a monastery down, some bees, and then we can start brewing mead.
New villagers have arrived.
And let's get a tavern down. Aha! Somebody started buying something. I guess they've made the bread. Okay. Watch this guy. He's going to go and eat his bread.
New
somewhere.
villagers
There
have
we go.
arrived.
Munching on his bread. So then he becomes
Building
less hungry.
completed.
Now there's no
Building
penalty.
completed.
No penalty at the moment on hunger, but in time we'll add it in so that they're going to get more and more miffed off, and then when they become really angry they're going to start revolting, so you can expect them to start throwing burning torches onto your building and setting them on fire. And that's where your city guard will come into play as law enforcers. So you'll be able to actually capture them and put them in stocks and things like that and potentially torture them. Okay, our economy's getting pretty warmed up now. They're all coming, so that they're all hungry. So they're all buying bread. Once we've done building interiors, they'll actually go inside the buildings and then come out. So that's our gold nearly replenished. We built the tavern, so let's
Something to do?
need a monk trained and
Yes, Petal.
an innkeeper. Drop down, so there's our innkeeper. Where's she going? Where's she going? I imagine she's going to the storehouse to go and grab a barrel. Oh, just walk through the farmer's field. Wreck all his crops. So she'll grab a barrel and carry it back to the tavern. And then I think we disabled it in this patch, but eventually peasants will be able to go to the tavern because they've got a need for entertainment. So they'll go and drink mead in there. Taking care of the bees. Right, let's. We need to hurry up and build. Let's get some walls to start off with. Come on, otherwise they're going to wipe us out. I think on top of these towers, just for the time being, I'm going to build a repeating crossbow. And I'm also going to put a trebuchet on there because when they come, they're going to take us out. Oh. Why is that targeting already? Is that a deer? Ah, yes. There you see. At the moment, there's a bug which is in the track bug forum. And it treats deer as enemy, so makes the hunter's life incredibly easy. We certainly won't shy away from putting drunkenness in the game. We think it would provide some decent comedy opportunities. So, yeah, it's definitely something we're considering. Blackheart, thanks very much, and thanks for following development since we launched on early access. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the Hangouts. It's fairly new, we've not been doing it that long. It's not the same as like somebody that covers games, so actually I've got into watching that as sort of at the end of the day when I'm looking to de-stress and unwind. I do a shout out as well, so check out Doc.Game. He's a guy in the US who I follow and watch. Great personality. Swears quite a lot, so if you're easily offended, probably best not to go over. But yeah, check out his channel. It's twitch.tv/doc.game. Really great guy. So check him out. He plays a lot of arcades and MMOs, games like that. He's also played Folktale, and I think probably once the game's done, he really likes it, so I'm pretty sure he'll do a Let's Play on his stream at some point. But yeah, definitely check out him. In fact, I should probably... Let's see if I can paste his link in the chat. Right. Goblins haven't come yet, so let's put another trebuchet up here, and then that should be enough. Section wasn't long enough. Let's get some walls up. Now, where do you think I'm going to be able to go through? Because there's that fire there now, isn't there? I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this. No! And you can't delete wall sections at the moment. That's coming hopefully in the next patch. Because like there I've made a mistake and you can't delete them, so uh-oh. I'll see if I can show them climbing up. I'll keep an eye out for them and then I'll see if we can show them climbing up walls. Put some stairs in there. Karis is asking, are there any plans to add formations to armies instead of having them running in a ball? We'll see. It's whether there's a need for it or not. The game won't be about sort of sending huge armies. It won't be like Total War or anything like that. It's something that we'll explore, I think, at a later date. Right, they're here.
New villagers have arrived.
Oh dear, that's a bug. What are you doing? He should have climbed up that wall.
New villagers have arrived.
Managed to take care of them. Ah. So basically, when you seal off your whole village and close the gates, houses, and things like that, the goblins will scale your walls. But at the moment, because I haven't got a full wall, they're just going to walk around. They're not stupid. But that guy went through the wall, so we've definitely got to check that bug. It is in development. What can you say? You're going to get bugs. Yeah, Karis, it's something that we're going to explore. You know, we've invested a lot of time and energy in the dynamic nav mesh system. We've got a pathfinding specialist on the team, and so it's something that we'll definitely look into. Yeah, damn goblins. In fact, I've got to be careful because I think the beastmen are coming as well. Okay, so let's get some barracks on the go.
We don't have enough stone to do that.
Yes, we do. Cheat. Also want to work for the next patch on, well, it will be walls, but also the engineer and getting the flame traps and goo traps sorted. Because it'd be great to be able to grab the engineer and then start laying down traps in front of your walls. And then let's see how those pesky goblins do then when they're stuck to the ground and being set on fire. Some more population.
Building completed.
Let's sneak that in there. Yes, it will. Let's get a couple more going. Get some more peasants. I want to get a small army, and I want to go up there, and I also want to go and raid the Beastman camp, and maybe go up there as well.
Building completed.
Butchery, right, we haven't done butchery, of course, have we? So let's get a butchery down. There's the butchery. Slot that in. Will it go in there? No, it won't.
Building completed.
Put him around there. And then, of course, we need to train one. New peasant. So
All right, my love.
Villagers have arrived.
All right, dear.
Yeah, you'll be able to get heroes from the tavern.
New villagers have arrived.
Oh dear. That's all right. The trebuchet is taking care of it. No,
Right away. Okay.
Building
A woman's work is never
Get
done.
away.
Be right there, darling. Busy, busy, busy.
Okay. Now we're going. Go and get him. Yeah.
All right, dear. Right away.
Get some army on it.
Yes, my dear?
Ta-ta. Okay, thankfully we've got some trebuchet up there taking care of business. Oh dear, it looks like they are. At the moment, trebuchets wound your own guys as well, but
New villagers have arrived.
they'll quickly be replenished. You just heard it there that new villagers have already arrived. Problem is that they just killed a load of them, so let's train those. So put out
How can I help?
monk back. I don't know, did we lose the tavern person?
New
No,
villagers
the
have
innkeepers
arrived.
are there. Train a butcher. There she comes. Down to Campbell.
New villagers have arrived.
Interesting. Oh, I guess there were two that arrived at the same time. Right. So this one.
Something to do?
Hopefully we'll be off to get. Let's check if we've got some. Yes, we've got one. Very good hunting rate. Oh, that's right, because there's only one deer spawns at the moment, so there's only one carcass to go at. So I guess she's going to go and get it. butcher is enabled, so they'll start going buying food. They have different needs for different types of food as well. It's not just food. They have like a need for protein, a need for carbohydrates and things. So we can actually, let's grow some pumpkins as well. So we'll just change that field. The icon's not done at the moment, but grapes will be another thing that you can grow. Like a winery. And herbs for the herbalist building. We've got a fair few professions and buildings that we're finished and ready to go in the game. But at the moment we're just trying to focus on getting a lot of the bugs fixed and getting each section of the game finished off. So like the walls and the engineer traps and turrets and those sort of things. And then if the timing's still not right for the release of 0.3, as I said, in the forums we're going to be bringing forward features, so we may well put those professions in there and expand the economy further. Okay. Gold generation certainly isn't a problem in this build anyway. Right, have they built that? Where did I build it? I can't remember where I built it now. Is that it there? Yes, right. So, let's go and grab some peasants.
Yes, Petal. Okay. All right, my love.
You're going to be my army. Now, we've made another improvement to the inventory system. That will continue to improve with each patch. Let's bring them, let's put them to the light so we can see them. You over there. Right, so I'll open up the character sheet, and then I'll also open the global inventory. Alright, and then everything makes sounds now. So we've got chain, leggings. I don't think this one's got the right one. No, it doesn't make any one. Plate helmet, or a chain helmet, or a leather helmet. Some leather leggings, boots. Belt. Yeah, the gold is way too loud, and we need some variation in there. Yeah. Okay, and then we can filter. There's no filter for resources, I think, at the moment, but we'll add that in. So we want weapons, and then we want to give them. So if I just move over here, they've just got. I've said this before, but they've got a bog standard sort of halberd at the moment. But if we give them a new one, so that's that one.
Yes, my dear.
Let's have you. You've got a bog standard one. Let's give you the royal one. Let's give you some armour. So they're no longer invincible with a bit of armour on. So just bear that in mind.
How can I help?
Spear, boots, gladiator's helm, cauldrons, goblet gloves. Okay, I'll do.
Something to do?
Alright. Let's see. Do you think we've got enough? I don't know.
Yes, Petal.
Let's take.
All right, my love.
Let's just take a load. Come on, you guys. Go and kick some undead ass. Yeah, the leather leggings do sound a bit tight, don't they?
A woman's work is never done. Be right there, darling.
Did one hardcore Wookie Dancer's asking, did one City Watch have a different halberd? Yep, they did. Actually, 3 of them had different halberds. Let's actually meet down here. Actually, maybe not on the hills. That's such a great idea. Let's go over here. So that's one. That's a different one. And there's a guy with a spear somewhere. Yeah, she's got a spear, and he's just got the bog standard one. Let's also give. Well, we can give all the axemen and people that they're wanting to return to work. So we've made it so the military units won't return to work, but your workers will. So, you know, the workers aren't designed to go into battle.
Busy. All right, dear.
Now the necromancers are going
right
to,
away.
let's just
Okay.
sort of tease these out.
A woman's work is never done.
Right, go. Where you lot going? Cannon fodder. Go and get her.
Yes, my dear.
Oh, God.
One life.
That's it for me.
Made.
Oh, I guess
How
our
can I
innkeeper
help?
made it. Got killed.
Be right there, darling.
New villagers have arrived.
Busy. All right, dear.
You. Let's take you out as well.
I'm done for.
Oh, I guess you died.
Right away. Okay.
So
Something
let's
to
grab
do?
somebody and send them up to go and get
New
this chest.
villagers have arrived.
So you see I've positioned the keyhole at the front. Okay, and then we've got some loot, so we'll loot all. That's now gone into our global inventory. I'll turn the filter off. Somewhere. Anyway,
New villagers have arrived.
I bet they've all run off as well, haven't they? Yeah, look at you lazy slackers. Come on. Stay with the programme. Okay.
A woman's
Let's go
work
the
is
back
never
way.
done.
Over the bridge. I think there's some lad. Yep, there are some stairs there, so let's go down there. Owen Snowden's asking, will you be adding more buildings after you're done making the game? We're not one of those companies that's going to keep stuff out of the game, content out of the game, just so we can have DLC or new stuff. We're going to put it all in the final game. There you go, they're going down there. Yeah, for the village voices will be using the actors that kindly contributed their time who got a wandering beast.
Be right there, darling.
Let's take him out. We'll be using those actors and sending them into recording studio to get good quality recordings, and then we'll also be expanding the roster to audition for all of the new characters as well. Yeah, the music's
All
actually
right,
not
dear.
from in-game. It's coming from like media player. I've actually set the in-game audio, the soundtrack. I've just set it down to 0 volume. Not in-game, but actually in the sound file itself, so that I can have the in-game sounds playing and let you guys listen to the soundtrack that's being worked on.
Yes, Petal.
New villagers have arrived.
We've got combat sounds, so they should all be added in to 0.9.
Damn it! Dang it!
It seems it's a bit weird with sort of no combat sounds, and then they just
So
occasionally
that's
hearing the
it.
shriek of players, characters as they die. So these characters
New
now
villagers have
eventually will be
arrived.
able to loot them, but for now they'll disappear after so long. God, we're not doing very well if that's all that's left. We've just got owned totally.
Right away.
There's another guy coming
Okay.
there, so let's move back.
New villagers have arrived.
I have a feeling it's going to be coming up here. Oh, chest. Let's go and have that.
New villagers
A woman's
have
work is
arrived.
never done. Be right there, darling.
In terms of DLC, I'll sort of go over that again. We would really like to add the Goblin race as a playable race. But as I say, we're working with within a budget, and the budget at the moment doesn't support that. Now, if the game does well, then obviously we want to keep adding to the game, and that would be one of the first things that we looked at. So all of the buildings and everything. We will be making some of the Goblin buildings soon. We've actually shared some of the concept art, I think, in one of the blogs. So we have a drink, pretty parched. Excuse me. Yeah, so goblins are possible. They're the sort of the natural characters, really, to go and live in the swamp. There's all sorts of content being worked on as well that I'm not able to share in just while I'm playing the game. We're working on a new race for the swamp as well, so you'll have the goblins in the swamp, and then you'll also have another race, but I'm not going to announce anything about it just yet. But they're pretty cool, and not something that I personally have seen in an RPG game before, so looking forward to those guys. The sound effects are going to be interesting to make, that's for sure. Some of the sound effects are going to be a bit crazy. I was digging around in the props. Some of the props we've got to record. So if you ever wondered what it sounds like when the city guard, where's he gone? We have a city guard over here. So if you look at those
Ready
guys'
to
helmet,
serve.
now bear with me a second. God, this is so goofy. I'm going to do it anyway. Check it out. And then, if you give me a second. If you've ever wondered what one of these bad boys sounds like when it hits one of these helmets. Oh.
New
So
villagers
we'll
have
record
arrived.
that. So we'll try and get some fairly authentic sounds in there. Being a game developer is cool. I've also got this little chap out. It's one of my favourites. It's a light crossbow. Now there's no way I'm going to fire the bolt. Let's arm this properly. Do it on the ground. Put my foot in it. Oh! I have to do that again. These things, God, I don't know how they fired these things in real life. Right, okay, that's better. Gotta watch the trigger. Where are we? This little thing here is the trigger. I accidentally. Now I'm not going to put this in. We've got a little bolt in there as well. So what we'll do is we'll hold that up to the microphone, and then, and there you go. That's what a crossbow sounds like when it's fired. So there you go. Sound effects and how they're made. We get up to all sorts of things off camera. Let's see, we've got some swords as well, I think. Yeah, all sorts of yeah, sound effects. It's fun. Well, we're gonna have to fake some of it because obviously we don't have all these halberds and stuff. No comment, Matty. Okay, competition time. Woo! We're going to be giving away a Steam key, Folktale. To enter it, if you've been watching the chat channel, I'm just going to drop across into that now. To enter, you type apostrophe, oh sorry, not apostrophe, exclamation mark, and enter. You'll see everybody's doing it in chat now. So fire those in there now, and then we'll use a little plugin which will do a random roll and choose somebody at random. So we'll give you a couple of minutes to enter that. That's it. I can see you all, everyone entering. So this is for Steam Key. Wants to announce the winner. I'll be sending you a key straight after the Hangout is finished. And then you'll be able to go and redeem that in Steam, either for yourself or for a friend. And gift it to a friend. I've got no control over who the winner is. It's just everybody that enters has got a chance. Got one chance of winning it, and I'll just announce who it is. Yeah, I'll take care of the sound effects, the new sound effects. Some of the existing sound effects have been done by other guys. But yeah, I'll be taking care of the sound effects. I'm basically I'm the guy. I glue together everything else and fill in the holes of where we've got a shortage on the team. So yeah, I get to play with all the silly weapons and make the sound effects and do the sound designing and design sounds for like skeletons climbing out of the ground and those sorts of things. Ricky, we haven't done it yet. We're doing it now. So I'm just giving it a couple of minutes for everybody to enter that wants to enter it. We've got quite a few. Got a decent chance of winning. So it's again you can see in chat people entering. So it's exclamation mark enter in lowercase, and that will add you to the list of people that want to win. And then we'll roll the die, and not literally, we'll just use the plugin that we've got, and that will be our winner. So good luck to everybody. Give it a rough sort of minute. Tommy, Nightbot's got you. So we don't allow posting of links in chat. I need to whitelist some of the URLs. But Nightbot is not a person, so take their warnings with a pinch of salt. If it did ban you, I'd let you back in. Take you off any blacklist. Yeah, now it's a giveaway, and like loads of people have suddenly come in. But by all means, you know, sign up to enter the competition. We've got a few seconds left. It's apostrophe, no, it's exclamation mark enter. You'll see some of the guys in chat have already typed it in. So that's exclamation mark enter in lowercase. And we're giving away a Steam key for Folktale, which is in early access on Steam. Okay. Are we all done? We need a little drum roll. Let's do the roll. Okay, we have a winner. And the winner is... You ready? It's Peroka. Let me type in the name. Peroka. And I'll write that down. You are the winner. So Pyroka. After we've finished with the stream, we'll make sure that that Steam key gets you, and you'll be able to redeem that on Steam. You go into the Steam client, and I think it's, I can't remember which menu, it's up on the top menu of options, and you can redeem a key or you can gift it to a friend. We'll be doing a giveaway every stream. So, you know, early on, come along, subscribe. Not subscribe, just follow us, and follow the Hangout, and then you'll have a pretty good chance of winning. Of course, now we've done the prize door, everybody's leaving. That's fine. Yeah, we only give one out for now, especially when you know, there's a small number of viewers online. We're thinking about maybe getting some t-shirts done, which would be rare because we're not giving them out yet. So I think what we'll do is we're going to think of we're going to have some of the comedy scenes made up into t-shirts. So Massey 101 has done some really good ones of those, so he would get one of those t-shirts. So anybody sort of stage scene with a caption that we really like, and if they agree, we'll make those up into a t-shirt and send one of those t-shirts out to the creator of that image. So that's something, you know, it's early days, guys. We're going to be expanding these sort of giveaways and the community involvement and competitions, and you know, we'll be doing a lot more of that. We're still getting used to the whole Hangout thing and live streaming, so you know, if you can think of any way that we can make it better for you guys, then please let us know. There's a topic in the forum, the Steam forum, if you want to jump into there. Any suggestions, that would be really cool. In terms of selling t-shirts, I don't know, I'm sort of I don't want to get into that whole sort of plague of Kickstarter thing where they spend all of their time sending out t-shirts and mugs and stuff. You know, we've got a game to make at the end of the day, so I don't know if we would get into doing t-shirts at this stage. But the odd one or two given out, it also makes them a bit more exclusive, since they are that rare. You know, there would only be a handful in the world initially. Yeah, so anything else you can think of that, you know, might make good things to give away, let us know, and we'll obviously be thinking as well, and we'll see what comes up. Clark Lee, the current patch is 0.2.8, which came out on Saturday, so that is just out. And is the save option, it is down for the 0.3.x release cycle. As I said, we are going to be bringing forward features out of that release cycle into the current one, while we sort of, I don't want to say push back because it's not pushing back, but we're waiting for the right time to release 0.3 when it's ready. And while we're sort of holding back that date, we'll you know, development's obviously continuing, so we're just going to keep bringing in features and content from 0.3.x into the build. So when whatever we call 0.3, we had a big discussion about this in the forum. In reality, on the current roadmap, it's going to probably be like 0.3.4. It's just relabeled as 0.3, so it doesn't affect production in any way. It's just, you know, we're carrying on that as is, and we will get to that. We obviously realise, or we learned that the hard way from the tutorial, the fact that we didn't include a save at launch. There was a lot of sort of negative feedback on that particular feature, and we addressed that in 0.1.7. It's a balance, you know. At the moment, it's sort of, you know, there's in Sandbox there's a game to play, but it's not like you're going to be playing an 8-hour campaign in there. So it's more important that we get the game to a certain state, and then get save in. What I will say is that we are building all of Sandbox so that save will be much easier to support. So when we get to it, it shouldn't hopefully take that long to do. The only thing is, of course, is that as we change file formats, then any saved games between patches may not be backwards compatible. So that's just something to be aware of. But yeah, totally recognise the fact that, you know, save is an essential sort of early piece of functionality. But yeah, as soon as we get to a point where there is enough gameplay to need it, and enough of a challenge that you might mess up and get slaughtered, then you can expect save to be pretty close behind. Let me read this. Rokaluzny. You got a few questions? Yeah. Shoot. We'll have a bit of an answering session, question and answer session. So patch 0.3, and what we're working towards, or what we were working towards, is being expanded. Somewhat the scope of what we're delivering has been expanded. We want it to be have much more economic depth of economy in there. You know, we're adding features like having your walls being scaled. We're polishing up and adding in sound effects. So the whole experience, what we thought would be 0.3 at the start of the year, has changed, and it's become this much more important promotional opportunity that commercially is very important for us. So you can expect that the experience is much more polished. You know, we're getting inventory in there. It may be that we get crafting in there as well. We've added things like, you know, the different crops. We'll be bringing in more of the buildings. So what's in there now at the moment has got some extra buildings that we weren't planning on adding in there, and we're going to be adding even more in. So it's really a matter of, we get to a state where I think, right, okay, 0.3 is finished now, but is it commercially the right time to announce this as Sandbox being available and going on Steam and doing a big promotional push on there? That's what we're going to be timing differently. So you'll get, I suppose in a way, you'll get 0.3 through the normal patch cycle. It's just that we might rename it to 0.2.12 or something like that. But it essentially will be 0.3. It's just that we won't call it that until we're absolutely ready. What will be the largest, nastiest race of goons we will face? That will... Well, obviously we've not finished with characters, but at the moment, stuff that you guys haven't seen that's been made already. There's a frost giant who's pretty big. There's actually some fairly big. The Yetis, they're not as big as the frost giant. The frost giant is definitely taller, but the Yetis are sort of bulkier. There's obviously going to be a dragon at some point with a twist. That's going to be obviously fairly big, I would have thought. Yeah, let's see. The list is definitely not done yet. We're also doing some small creatures. So, as I said, there's a new race for the swamp being worked on at the moment, but I'm not going to reveal what that is. But I'm pretty excited about that. Trolls, there may well be trolls. You know, there'll be a certain sort of staple fare of monsters, and then there'll be all sorts of ones that we put in that you might not necessarily expect. So, but give us ample opportunity for a bit of humour in there. Okay, how are we doing on time? Let me just look at the time. Alright, so we've been streaming for 1 hour and 40. There's a limit of 2 hours for some reason on videos. Twitch at the moment is changing their rules and trying to find out what the optimal storage is and stuff, and there seems to be some limit of 2 hours. So we'll always keep the Dev Hangouts below 2 hours. Trolls, I think we definitely have to have in there, just because it's an opportunity to get back some of the snide comments that have been made in the community. So yeah, you can expect those to go in for sure. Owen's asking, will the guards have a rank system like Captain of the Guard and the Night Watch could work? Could be cool as hell. Oh, just ignore Nightbot. But yeah, don't type in capitals. What was I saying? I'll scroll back up now. Was asking, can you talk about the encounter system and how it will work? Alright, yeah, no problem. So, I know how encounter system is going to work, and I can talk to you about it. We haven't made it yet, but essentially, if you think about the campaign that's in the tutorial, right? So let's say the initial cinematic after you've built your village and you meet the goblins for the first time and they take away some of your villagers. Alright, we will be migrating that plot line from the tutorial over into Sandbox. So I think there's a lot of confusion at the moment in the community about some people saying like, oh, I wanted this to be a campaign game, and you go in Sandbox and it's not going to have any of that in it. Well, it is going to have it in it, and the way that we're going to introduce that is this encounter system. And essentially what it will be is it will be a placeable world encounter that you drop into using the editor, and it may involve let's see, set pieces of villain, so let's say Slave Master Urzel, the goblin in that case. It might involve a location, so it might be like Urzel's temple, or maybe not then. Let's talk about the guys on the hill. So it would be like a goblin raiding slavers camp. And as you're exploring, you will actually, as soon as you enter that trigger zone, the cinematic will begin, and you will meet the goblins for the first time. And as a player designer, you will set up that interaction in your map. And then other pieces that you might add, right, okay, well, we need some slave cages. So if you think ahead towards the end of the game, where you've got the villagers that were captured in the cages, and you can release them using the slaver keys, then you'll be able to position those things, and they will become a mandatory set of requirements for that encounter to work. And that will be in an encounter. So another encounter would be like activating the golem, and Camfrey giving you the quests for those. So that would be again a cinematic linked to a trigger linked to quest items. So the objective is to migrate everything that you experienced in the tutorial, but to run on Sandbox tech. So you could, or certainly what we're trying to do is replicate the campaign experience of tutorial, but in a Sandbox environment. I mean, with all the humour that goes with that. If you think about a game like Skyrim, for example, now that's an open world. We're not quite an open world, but the way that you have quest lines structured, you're pretty much free to do what you want and you know, go on the map where you want. You could do the Fighters Guild storyline and do all of that and go through all of that story, or you could actually not go anywhere near that. You could actually go to a different part of the map and end up triggering a completely different storyline, and that's the encounter system. So hopefully that makes sense. Doesn't it risk being repetitive? Yes, it does. You know, we can't put everything in the game, and we've only got so much budget. But what we're also looking at doing is actually being able to have player-defined quests in there. So that will be able to give you a lot of variety. we struggled in the design phase for a long time over how you get cinematics and voice acting into a system that really you want to be able to define text for. We can't have player designed quests where you're typing in text, because we can't automatically generate a cinematic from that, and we're not somebody like Project Spark that's got hundreds of millions of dollars of funding and we can do some sort of cinematic editor. We are constrained, we're only a small indie team. So what we're looking at doing is providing the best of both worlds, so that you will have experiences that can either draw from the encounters, so like a menu board of encounters, or you can actually type in your quests and tie it together that way. And hopefully that should provide enough variety for the encounters. But yes, there are obvious limits on the system. I still want to do that in terms of the cinematics, because I think that's where a lot of the humour comes from, and also some of the one-liners from the characters. But I also recognise the fact that players will most definitely want to be able to set up their own quests and storylines in the editor, so that's something else that we're supporting. So it's just a matter of making sure that we provide enough encounters so that people's worlds can be different. Okay. Yeah, it's too late to enter the competition, guys. We've given away the key already to the winner, who was Peroka. Owen Snowden's asking, will there be a Mage Guild? There is a Witches and Warlock profession, and they have the Crooked Cauldron building, which is the concept stage. The Witches, they are also at the concept stage, and it generally takes about a week to model and paint a profession character, and then it needs to go to the animator excuse me, and get hooked up. Buildings take a little bit longer because there are there are multiple tiers, so each of these buildings that you see here, we've actually made 3 tiers of these that get progressively bigger and better looking. We just haven't activated them at the moment, so again, that's something that we may well enable for 0.3, and the research and the upgrades that go with those. But as for an actual Mages Guild, that's the Mages is going to be more down to a hero unit rather than being like a profession. Hardcore Walkie Dance is asking, is it possible to share and play maps community members make? Yes, the answer to that. How it's happening at the moment is that community members are pasting links to the hosted map file, and that's how we caught eye of Matthew 101's the Valleys map. We call it the Valleys, and hopefully he's okay with that. And that's how we were able to actually download that and play with that map and think, yeah, this is really cool. We're gonna, obviously we asked Matty's permission first, which he kindly granted, and we've been able to share that map with everybody in the community. It's got his Steam name in the map, so if anybody else comes up with a map that we think is really cool, then we can also do the same thing for that. That's short term. Longer term, we're obviously looking at something like Steam Workshop integration. So from within the game, you'll be able to basically look for community-created worlds, which is a whole playable experience. This is just one map. We'll have a world map, and you'll have lots and lots of these maps connected together to create a world. And you'll be able to download those. They'll all be rated, so community members will be able to download them, play them. If they enjoy them, they'll be able to then rate them, so that other community members can just go and sort by their rating and get the best play experiences from the best designers. It's also a way of filtering out the rubbish, because you are going to get some really bad maps uploaded onto there. You'll also be able to upload individual maps, and looking at the character designer, you'll also be able to design characters give them names and traits, and then upload those as well. So as well as playing those characters in your own games, so that you become familiar with who they are and you recognise them across different game sessions, you'll actually be able to share those and download other characters created in the community as well. So yeah, it's coming. At the moment, it's pretty much linking to files. We use zip files, so it's pretty easy format to host on a web server. Just give me a second while I catch up with chat. Rokaluzny is saying he hopes the way that the buildings rise out of the ground will be changed to be more realistic. Yeah, for now they are like that because we want to know, we want to see how look at the memory profile and how much memory we've got left once everything's in there. The reason being is that we've got three tiers of every building, and each one of those would need like a phase construction approach, and that consumes memory. So it's not critical for gameplay. So at the moment, it's not left out, but it is something we are going to reconsider at a later date once we've got a better idea of the final memory footprint. The grass is removed now anyway when you place buildings. On the edge of the map will there be invisible walls? Yeah, I mean there are at the moment, but oh well, no, they're not. There aren't at the moment, are there? But yeah, there will be. We're playing around with props to actually block in all of this, but it might have a performance implication. So that's something we're looking at. Chowny is asking how flexible is the terrain? In other words, if I try to complete that wall you have over there, how often am I going to get the red square? That's mostly down to level design. I mean, obviously at the moment we've got things like campfires that are blocking the way. We do remove some of the landscape features, like rocks and things. I don't know if I can show that there. But it's a matter of fine-tuning that. At the moment, you don't. It's not just on straight ground. So I'll just show this now. But you see, you can actually build up. So let's see if we can get there. Yeah, there's one there, wasn't there? So let's build that wall there. And you guys will actually walk. I'll see if they can complete that. That's it. 1, 2,
Yep.
3, 4. Yeah. So let them build that. Then we'll come back to that. I'm trying to catch up on chat. Sorry, there's a lot of questions. We don't have an admin at the moment to help me out when I'm streaming, so bear with me. We do have a religion. It's the Holy Toast, so they worship the god of toast, and that's like their favorite food, and it's in the plot line. You may have picked up on it in the tutorial, and the fact that Bird is more concerned about the farmer and the fact that they won't have toast than the fact that they've taken his poor wife. So yeah, the deity is the god of toast, the holy toast. Okay, I think on that point we are going to end the Hangout. We've got Devblog 26 coming out probably next weekend.
New villagers have
Stop
arrived.
Nightbot from saying about that competition, don't I? Yeah, we've got the Devblog 26 coming out, which will go over everything. You guys are really sort of getting everything ahead of time by watching the Dev Hangouts, because we always cover like what we've been working on in the last week. So it's a really good insight if you want to follow the game a bit more. Chanix, been thinking about purchasing. How much of the game is economic simulation? Real quick, that's what we're focusing on at the moment. So the game is we in the shortest form, it's a city builder RPG. So I guess you could say sort of like half the game is city building, which we then break down further, and then half of it is sort of RPG, adventuring, exploring, loot, that sort of thing. So the city building side is split into actually building and designing your city, and then the economy. So we keep adding in the different economy chains. We've got a lot more of those waiting in the wings to bring in there. You know, the fact that at the moment we've got things like the hunter going out to kill deer, and then the meat goes to the butchers, and the butcher makes sausages and that sort of thing. So you've got those sorts of economy lines in there. We've got crafting in there, so I guess that's somewhat from your RPG side, but it's tied into your city, so you can actually equip your guys with better tools and craft better tools. But in terms of the economy, it's just going to keep expanding. So we'll be adding in new chains, we'll be adding in more controls, so maybe like possibly pricing, that sort of thing. So that was real quick. You'll see, you'll probably not pick up on this unless I actually tell you, but you'll start finding that there are elements of the Holy Toast built into all sorts of things. I'm just trying to think where. It's the gates that are, oh, I know where the gates are. I put them over here, didn't I? Oh, so they're building the wall there. Where was it? It was up here.
New villagers have arrived.
So you probably won't. It's really bad at night time to show you, but things like the gates are made in the shape of a slice of toast. There's various artwork throughout, so little textures here and there that have got a little bits of toast in it. So there's always sort of a reference being made to that. I just can't think off the top of my head where they are. Not the best to show it in fog of war, anyway. The bakery. Let's go and look at the bakery. So, I mean, the bakeries are in a loaf shape anyway. But yeah, you'll just have to find them. But they are in there, and we'll be adding more. Will the witch be viewable in the next dev blog? No, it won't. Will it? No. I'll think about it. I think I'd rather show the finished characters now at this stage than concept art. We had a discussion in the forum about it, about whether we should go sort of like the slightly sexier sort of bewitched style of witch, or whether we should go with the old crone sort of witch. And we've listened to feedback and then taken that and worked it into our own vision, which we'll be revealing in time. Okay, guys, we're going to Nightbot is instantly getting hatred. Feel free to abuse Nightbot. Okay, guys, thanks for joining us. Check out the dev blog next week at blog.gamesfoundry.com. If you haven't done so already, remember to follow this channel.